I guess I should say howdy. Thank you. If I can first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the criteria of the selection, about our bowl game, because I know in this area, just being in the SEC for the second year, give you an idea of what the bowl's all about. Talk a little bit about our matchup, the mission, and then some information about our app. But I'd be remiss if I didn't announce first our staff that are here. They're spread out. So I see David Epps, our COO, is here. Matt Garvey, our VP of Communication, who a lot of you will be working with. Derek Martin, our VP of Events. And thank God for John Shackelford of Chick-fil-A, our corporate sponsor. He was able to get the Chick-fil-A plane, and we flew right in to the airport here. So glad to have all those guys with us. I want to welcome back Kevin Sumlin, who played in the Peach Bowl back in 1984
Long time ago.
as a player for Purdue. And also welcome back Eric Hyman, who was with us in 2010 at South Carolina when they played Florida State in the Chick-fil-A Bowl. So glad to have both gentlemen back to our bowl game.
The results will be different.
There you go. Our selection criteria, talk a little bit about why we selected Texas A&M. Obviously being ranked 21st in the BCS, we have two ranked teams with Duke and Texas A&M, and that's big for our game, not only for TV, but for the matchup, for the fans as well. Having a top 10 offense, makes for a great bowl game, an exciting offense, quick scoring offense. Losing to number 2, number 3, and number 8 by, really only 18 points. They were in every game, played a tough schedule. Obviously having the national football brand that they have. It's a number 2 rated football brand for TV purposes and ratings this year. So passionate fan base. And then obviously Johnny Manziel, the Heisman Trophy winner. I would like to also mention, the great players that have won either all-conference or all-American honors this year from Texas A&M, with Matthews and Evans and Kaser and Manziel, 4 great players that have excelled this year on the football field, and I know there's others as well. Talk a little bit about our payout. We'll pay $7.4 million this year, which puts us over $125 million all time that the Chick-fil-A Bowl has paid. We're the 9th oldest bowl game in the country. We have sold out in November. We announced our sellout. We've sold out 17 straight bowl games, which is second only to the Rose Bowl in continuous sellouts. Primetime TV unopposed slot on ESPN on New Year's Eve has been wonderful for us. We have 4 of the top 10 broadcasts ever on ESPN, and last year we were number 1 ever on ESPN other than the BCS games. We had 8.5 million people view our game on New Year's Eve. Competition-wise, with the ACC and the SEC primarily over the last 21 years, this will be our last guaranteed contract of the ACC versus the SEC. The ACC's won 11 times, and the SEC's won 10 times. So the heat's on Texas A&M to stand up for the SEC and tie that record. We've had 56% of our games have been decided by a touchdown or less. We've had great matchups over the years, and this one we think will be the same. Texas A&M obviously playing for the opportunity to win 3 bowl games in a row for the first time ever in their storied football history. I think, the winner of this game probably winds up in the top 15 in the final ratings, which would be a great way to end the season and start the next season. And we mentioned about the SEC competition. As we move forward as a bowl, we'll be moving into the new college football playoff next year as one of 6 bowls that will rotate the semifinal game every 3 years for the next 12 years. And I would tell you that the Chick-fil-A Bowl, we've been involved in restarting, so to speak, the kickoff games, and we hope that at some point in the future we can have Texas A&M come back to Atlanta to participate in one of our kickoff games as the strength of schedule becomes an even bigger influence with the new college football playoff system. And lastly, we founded the vision, I guess, for lack of a better term, to move the new College Football Hall of Fame to Atlanta, which will open next year in August. We'll have the enshrinement ceremonies every year in Atlanta in the new College Football Hall of Fame. And we were the first sponsor. The Bowl put $5 million into the new College Football Hall of Fame to get it started. Talk a little bit about our Bowl Week experience. Everything that we do with the Bowl is a reward for the players. We know we're not the national championship game. The players are the ones, through practice and playing in all the games, deserve the opportunity to participate in a bowl game such as ours. And obviously, Texas A&M playing themselves into our game. We'll show a video at the end of this press conference to give you an idea of what we do during Bowl Week and what we have in store for the players. But our philosophy is live, laugh, and learn. You know, these players get the opportunity to live great. They'll stay in a great hotel, get wonderful gifts, eat great food like Chick-fil-A in every form or fashion, and play in a great facility and just be treated first class. Laugh, we don't have banquets. We have a battle for Bowl Week where we have a family feud to end the week, and there's a competition every night because we know these players, what they like to do is compete and have fun. And so every night we'll have a separate competition ranging from karting at Andretti's to Dave & Buster's to who can make the fastest, what offensive line can make the fastest milkshake. And we have a WWE belt that we actually give to the team, whoever wins that for the battle for Bowl Week. I should announce, too, on Friday, December 20th, between 5 and 6 o'clock at the Chick-fil-A on State Highway 6, we'll have a Spirit Day, a Chick-fil-A Spirit Day at the Chick-fil-A here. And that'll include the Yell Leaders, the dance team, and the A&M hostesses. So if you want to come out to that. Our mission as a bowl game is to be the most charitable and scholarship bowl in the country. And we humbly do that every year. We disperse more money back through charity and scholarship than any other bowl game in the country. This year will be $1.6 million that could fall to our profits and fall to our bottom line, but we give back to the community in Atlanta and elsewhere because the community of Atlanta has helped this bowl game thrive, both corporately and passionate fans who buy the tickets. We've given $15 million to charity and scholarship since 2002, which is a record for all bowl games. And in this case, we will, with Chick-fil-A's help of $50,000 and the Bowl's $50,000, we will donate a $100,000 endowed scholarship under the Chick-fil-A Bowl to Texas A&M for participating in our game this year to President Lofton. We'll also do the same for Duke with President Broadhead. I guess the last thing is just to provide you a little information about the Bowl. If you'll download the Chick-fil-A Bowl app on the App Store or Google Play, there's all kind of information. There's discounts for our Fan Fest, which is on game day. We have a parade that leads into Fan Fest into the Georgia World Congress Center that will probably have 35,000 to 40,000 people at that Fan Fest. Both teams will actually walk through Fan Fest between all their fans and their bands and walk right into the Georgia Dome to suit up for the game. And I ask you just to stay in your seats afterwards. We'll take down the signage and show the video on the screen about Bowl Week. So with all that being said, and I apologize for being so verbose, but I know our first time in the marketplace, just to give you a little idea about the bowl game and who we are and what we do, I thought might be helpful. But I do want to congratulate Coach Sumlin on a great year and Eric Hyman with an invitation to the 46th Chick-fil-A Bowl, and hopefully Eric will accept. So, Eric, congratulations.
Of course I will. Gary, thank you very much. We are extremely excited to go to the Chick-fil-A Bowl. I go all the way back to the days of the Peach Bowl, and that tells you how long I've been familiar with the Chick-fil-A Bowl. And, you know, it's a chance for the A&M brand to go east. It's a chance for us to get into a venue that has hosted Super Bowls, Final Fours, and I think it's really a reflection on Gary, and I'll brag a little bit about Gary. I've known him for an extended period of time. the hospitality, the service, as far as for the fans and for the team and the student athletes, which this is all about, our student athletes, is second to none. It's an extraordinary experience, and I think our young people and our coaching staff will walk away really having enjoyed the experience. Gary does a fantastic job. He's very detail-oriented. And I think we'll have a wide cross-section of people that will very much enjoy the experience of being in Atlanta. It's a wonderful place. They have the Coca-Cola Museum not far. They have the aquarium not far, within walking distance. CNN headquarters. There's a ton of things to do. And in the future, obviously, the College Football Hall of Fame. Also talk a little bit about Duke. I know a lot of people aren't that familiar with Duke, and I happen to be very familiar with Duke. Because that's the rival school, and when I was in college and participating in football, and
Mine too.
Yeah, yours too. Gary was an NC State graduate and played with NC State. But I will tell you, this is one of the best teams they've ever had, and I think it's a tremendous reflection on Coach Cutcliffe and the former head coach at Ole Miss and the offensive coordinator at Tennessee. Nothing but the utmost respect for him and the job that he's done. And Duke is playing on a high level, and I know some of the people around this area may not be familiar with them, but don't fool yourself. They're a good, very, very good football team, and to have one of the best football teams they've had in the history of the school, I think that sells volumes. It says volumes about the kind of team that they have. Now, one thing I do want to tell Gary, I'm a little disappointed with John from the Chick-fil-A Bowl. I quizzed him on how many Chick-fil-A's there were in the state of Texas, and he didn't know the answer. You do know now, don't you? 294 Chick-fil-A's in the state of Texas, and we couldn't be more excited to go there. There's a lot of Aggies eat Chick-fil-A biscuits all across the state, so I want you to know that we are very, very excited to be there and to participate in your bowl, and we can't wait to get there, and we're really excited. We've got a heck of a competition. Gary did mention the time slot's wonderful, New Year's Eve, and there's no real competitions, get great ratings, and so we're going to be able to continue to get that A&M brand out there and to get into the east part of the country. And I think from the Mississippi east, there's 70% of the population of the United States, and 30% is west, and so we're really getting into the heart of the SEC and where the championship game is played, and just as a precursor of what's to come as far as being able to participate in Atlanta in the future. So thank you very much, Gary.
Thanks,
we're very,
Eric.
very appreciative of it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Coach Sumlin, we'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Gary. There's not a whole lot more I can say. Appreciate it. No, we're excited. We're extremely excited, and to accept this invitation. I think both of you hit it right on the head. You know, the chance for us to expand our brand east, the chance for our fan base, our players to see a new venue, to be somewhere where we really haven't been, is exciting to us. A chance to be in Atlanta in a venue that also hosts our conference championship and moves on to the conference to the college football playoff series. Hopefully we can gain some experience from this trip and be able to come back here. So, you know, as a coach, you're always thinking about other things, but for us, there's a lot of positives. We're excited to be there, to play a team like Duke. As Eric said, you know, you look through their schedule. They've won a bunch of close football games, have played with a lot of confidence because of that. David Cutcliffe has done a fabulous job, and particularly this year. And you know, they're a team who's coming in with a lot of confidence, and we've got to be able to match that. And the time slot again is another real added plus for us, being unopposed on New Year's Eve. So as I said, you know, it's been a while since I've been there. I go back to the Peach Bowl also back in those days, and as Eric said, hopefully the outcome would be different for me as a coach than it was as a player, but we're definitely looking forward to getting to Atlanta.
All right, we'll open it up for questions. If you would raise your hand, we'll call on you and bring the mic to you so everyone can hear the question. Question down front, Kate. If you would identify yourself, Kate.
Kate Horopoulos, Dallas Morning News. Kevin, we haven't got to talk with you in a little bit. Can you just give us an update on practice schedule, what you guys have been doing the last couple of weeks, and when you guys get to Atlanta, all that stuff?
Sure, we do it in a couple different phases. You know, we have a developmental phase for our younger players, which will really end today. We've had roughly 5, 6, 7 practices with those young guys. After the season that we had, we really gave them a couple weeks off and really put them in a strength and conditioning program, and didn't practice as much as maybe we've done in the past because of the wear and tear of a long season. And you know, so this will be the last day of that. And what we try to do is have 2 game weeks, replicate the game weeks, with one here on campus and then one when we get to Atlanta. So basically tomorrow will be a Monday practice for a game week, and we'll let them go Sunday morning early, go home, and then we will fly to Atlanta, meet up in Atlanta for a team meeting Christmas night. And we'll have our guys will enjoy 2 Christmases, one with their families and one with their teammates and coaches, and we'll get together that night, and then we'll have another game week there in Atlanta, practicing at the Dome and Georgia Tech. So it'll be a great experience, and that's kind of how we've done things in the past. But it gives us an opportunity to insert a game plan twice, not overload our guys. But when you get to a bowl site, you know, hotels, logistics, guys are a little bit different, and it's more of recall at that point than it is just starting all over.
Go to the right. Olin.
Olin Buchanan, TexAgs. Kevin, do you feel like that y'all want to have more of a recruiting presence in Georgia? And if so, does this, how much will appearing in the Chick-fil-A Bowl help you establish that? Well,
based on the list of the 2015s that I was just looking at in the Atlanta area, yes, we want to have a really good presence there. You know, we haven't really been over there as much. We have some guys on our staff that have recruited that area. And I think you're talking about the state of Georgia and the Atlanta area, greater Atlanta area. There's a lot of really talented student athletes. That's one part of it. The second part is what Gary and Eric hit on, is the unopposed New Year's Eve time slot that gives you an opportunity to showcase Texas A&M, our university, and our program to everybody across, you know, the world. So, you know, there are 2 real positives in this, as Eric said, expanding our footprint east, playing in a new venue, and being in Georgia, being in the Atlanta area, and the unopposed television spot on New Year's Eve, I think are great combinations for us from an exposure standpoint nationally.
Olin, if I can add to that, you know, Georgia is the #1 recruiting base per capita in the country, and #4 overall. So it is a great, as Coach Sumlin said, a great recruiting base to recruit to, and having your brand there. And also, we've learned there's a lot of A&M, as Eric told me, there's a lot of A&M graduates in that metro Atlanta area as well. So they're coming out of the woodwork as well to come to this game, which is good to support Texas A&M and Coach Sumlin.
Yep.
Other questions? Down front here, Sam.
For Eric, Sam Connie, ESPN.com. Eric, I know we discussed this a little bit when it first agreed upon, but tell me a little bit about why you believe so strongly in Kevin with the recent contract awarded to him.
The proof's in the pudding. You look at the excitement, the momentum, the enthusiasm that the program has, under his tutelage, has generated. There's, you know, a wide cross-section of people in Aggie land are so appreciative of the job that he's done, and we look forward to, you know, the future is in good shape. And, you know, this is a commitment, a long-term commitment to Coach Sumlin. I don't think there's any question about it. And the belief that the people in Aggie land feel toward their football coach, and how he represents the university, and how he goes about doing his business, and his primary focus is on the student athlete, and that resonates with a lot of people.
And Kevin, how did you feel to get that done and make this long-term commitment?
No, I couldn't be more appreciative. And I think, as Eric said, it speaks to the university's commitment to us as a program, me personally, but also our commitment to the university. And, we've got, as I've said, Sam, we've got a ways to go with what we're doing. But I think what it says is that people believe we're on the right track. And not just from a contractual standpoint with me, but you look around this building and what's going on with Kyle Field and the facilities that have been put in place in the last couple of years and what's coming down the road shows a commitment to all our athletic programs, in particular football. And you add all those things together, and I think it's what Eric said. It shows a tremendous amount of commitment to where the program is headed, and I'm extremely appreciative of that.
Time for a couple more. Over here to the right, Christy.
Christy Reekin from the Associated Press. Kevin, with this possibly being Johnny's last game, would you be able to reflect on what he's meant to this team and the university overall? Well,
I'm not going to reflect on that yet until until it is his last game, So all I can do is tell you what he's done for the university up to this point. I think how he's played is well documented. His numbers have really speak for themselves. He is, without a doubt, probably the most exciting football player in America. And, there's all kind of compliments you can give somebody, but I think I might have been Kirk Herbstreit that said, when you turn on the television on Saturday, he's the guy you want to watch. So that's probably one of the best compliments you can ever give a player.
Time for one more before we go to the video. We'll get two here. Mark, and then Cease, you'll wrap us up.
Mark Passwaters with Rivals. Coach, had a couple of weeks off, like you mentioned. How's the team looking from a health standpoint?
We're doing well. How's that?
There you go.
That's my usual health report, right?
That's right.
No probable probables or maybe maybes. So we'll I'll update you closer. We got a long time. We've got a couple weeks to go, a week and a half to go before we get to the time where we got to start worrying about whether our guys can play or not.
All right, Cease. Last question, then we'll play this video.
Robert Sesson, Bryan College Station Eagle. Kevin, can you talk about the team's mental frame right now, putting the 2 losses behind, and how they're looking forward to this, where they're at right now?
The way this season has gone, Robert, we gave them a couple weeks off, and we've been gone, and I like our energy level right now. I think, guys have come back healthier. There's a little bit more bounce in their step. I think, we were a little worn down there at the end, mentally and physically, but you look at right now, and every year, the last 2 years, there's been something to accomplish. Last year's team was one of, 4 to win 11. You just heard Gary talk about, if we can win this game, this will be the first time in the history of this program we've won 3 bowl games in a row. That's significant. And there's been a lot of football played, and there's been a lot of guys come through this room that can't say they've done that. And so, that becomes something that can be very, very special to our seniors going out, and that can be something I think that can really, really propel us in the off season.